Tell me what's on your mind.
Okay, here we are live with the Genesis crew. This is the herding cats cast. That's what I call it, because dealing with getting everybody together is like herding cats. So we've got a few more that are due to come in. Norm was regaling us with just the amorality of being a supreme being. So yeah, so that was happening. anyway, anyway, so let me do some introductions. So we got a new guy tonight. Shadow Matt, you got your mic muted there, dude. But anyway,
yeah, I know. There's background noise, so I wasn't gonna,
Oh, well, okay.
keep it
All
on.
right. All right.
But,
So
yeah,
Shadow Matt's new for us. He's I believe you're a college student, aren't you?
yeah, I am.
Aspiring writer. Okay. So he's hanging out with us tonight and learning all sorts of bad stuff from Normy.
I am entirely innocent. I'm an innocent man.
Yeah, because
until proven guilty.
Yep.
Yeah, just because you haven't opened your mouth yet. But anyway, so okay, so
True.
so we got Todd of Redshift Comics. He's a comic book producer. He's hanging out with us tonight. I believe you got one in the pipe, don't you, Todd?
I'm working on it.
Working on it, yeah.
Yep.
So,
Getting ready to start the art.
All right, good deal. You using Barbusco for that, or
They're doing the coloring.
doing the coloring, right? Mika, she's full disclosure, they're my artist colorist couple as well. And he's supposed to drop in on us in about 10 minutes if they can get the baby to do whatever babies do.
I don't know how that
I have
is.
no idea. Norm has daughter units. He could probably fill us in on that.
Yeah, but she's 30, so
Oh, well,
long in the past.
It might have been a while. Okay. Norm is pantsless in Las Vegas, and he's hanging out with us tonight and teaching us all sorts of amorality. So here we go. I guess this is a good stream for you, Norm.
Norm is our source of amorality.
Yeah, well,
I endeavor to persevere.
the man managed to argue us into believing Magneto is an anti-hero. So yeah, he's got that ability.
And I really should apologize for that, because the reality of the situation is he is a hero, not an anti-hero. But nevertheless.
No, he's not.
Norm's stepping in it more than I did. Wow.
Oh.
It's the most fun place to be, right up to your freaking neck.
Yeah. He just dived right in last time, and we were all sitting there like, no, yes, okay, yes.
Wow.
But that was AP's fault. He brought in Namor, the Submariner, and that just muddied the waters quite a bit. So,
yep.
We're talking about somebody who, either tries to destroy the world or tries to save it, just depending on how the tides are flowing at that particular moment.
Oh, and you're going to give me grief about the morality of Dark Phoenix, are you? Your morality seems to be shifting pretty loosely there.
Just a little bit, anyway.
If you're on the villainous side, then they're a hero.
Yeah.
Don't start Redshift. I knew you guys were going to double up on me. Jeez, man. Well, I guess we could shuffle walk a little bit longer. It's supposed to have Chris in here, and I believe Barbusco's coming, and AP would probably pop in sometime. But who knows? Well, I guess we could just go ahead and get started. And I'm going to go counterclockwise to stay away from Normy for the time being.
He's in a safe space.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Well,
I've done enough suffering. I'm a Browns fan, okay? I've done
Get
enough
the
suffering
rhinestone
here.
jacket on, grab Steven
man.
Seagal, and start doing the doo-wop thing, you know? In your safe space.
There you go.
Wait, what happened? I had to dip out.
Oh well, we were just having our morals once again lowered by Normie. Hey, there's Dee Dee. Dee Dee is hanging out in the chat. Tell everybody you're not hiding, Dee Dee, if you say so. If you tell us. Anyway, all right. So what you got, Redshift?
All right. So
Who's your villain, man?
My villain is Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So my favorite Marvel character is Archangel.
Oh, there we go.
He's a super cool character, and I like that. He started out as this rich snobby guy, and he kind of got his lunch handed to him. And
well, Warren Worthington III is kind of hard not to be snobby with that name.
Exactly. And then he turns out to, Apocalypse takes him and turns him into Archangel, or the fourth horseman of the Apocalypse.
After the mutant masker took his wings, right? Yeah.
Yep. So Apocalypse is, some say he was the first mutant, and I'm not sure if that's totally accurate or not, but
that's been retconned so many times.
Yeah.
So for our purposes, we'll just go ahead and say yeah. So.
Yeah. And then he his whole philosophy is basically survival of the fittest to the extreme, and he thinks, if you can't survive, then you weren't meant to.
Right.
So he takes anybody and everybody and pits them against each other and fights them and tears them down and tries to destroy them. And if he doesn't destroy them, then he makes them better, supposedly. So that's my villain. And what were the questions we were?
Well, what is the what is like the ultimate act of villainy that he has done, in your opinion?
For me, just wiping out anybody that tries to oppose him, or just wiping people out just because he wants to rid the universe of weakness.
Deigns them unworthy.
Yeah. So he's trying to find the worthy and believes that mutants are the worthy, and he's going to challenge them to basically be at top the evolutionary scale. So,
well, it's odd, but you got Xavier, who believes in cohabitation with mankind, and that mutants have the responsibility to protect mankind. Then you got Magneto, who's like, well, mutants should take their place above mankind. And then you got Apocalypse, who believes that mutants should eliminate mankind. So when you talk about degrees, I guess you'd say that he's like the ultimate outcome of Magneto's ethos or whatever.
Right.
So.
Right. What I didn't know is that he was created by Louise Simonson.
Oh, okay.
So there was, when X Factor was getting written, the original writer, I don't remember his name, but he left right after issue 5, and he was introducing a new villain, and she came in and she wrote Apocalypse specifically to be the ultimate bad guy.
And so tell everybody about Miss Louise Simonson. Do you know anything?
I don't know much about her.
Okay.
I just know that she created a lot of characters Apocalypse being one of them.
Yeah.
Um,
And this was circa 1986, somewhere in there.
somewhere around there. At the
Well,
same
okay.
time, Claremont was writing.
Yeah.
For X-Men.
You know this, Norm? What time it was?
No, the first the guy was talking about Roger Stern.
Okay. All right. So this is in a time period when women are not supposed to be involved in Marvel, correct?
Yeah.
And yet
Because
they
it
were
was
everywhere.
it was a sausage fest, right? Including this nice little black lady named Ann Nocenti. Yeah, let's whitewash the whole thing, right? One thing I like about Apocalypse, though, is you want to talk about supercharging characters. I mean, he would take a character that was just milk toast and just turn them into something just, like he took Caliban. Caliban was like a one-note villain, or pitiful mutant character, and turned him into, a pretty dangerous individual.
Right. Yeah.
And but his masterwork has got to be Archangel.
Not to mention, he if you ever read the story about the High Evolutionary, he was able to go toe to toe up with him. So it's pretty powerful.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, High Evolutionary. I'm not really sure where those two, what their relationship was. I'm not very familiar with that.
Well,
but
if I remember correctly, it was the start of the book. They kind of was. I forgot what happened because the High Evolutionary wanted to basically do what he did in a way, and wanted to push man to the next evolution. I think he was trying.
While Apocalypse was doing mutants, he was doing mankind.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I don't remember all the story, and and he was and so I think he was trying to kill Apocalypse or something. And they were fighting, and they had a bit of a dialogue. I don't remember what exactly, but yeah, it was a good fight because it showed how powerful the High Evolutionary was because he was a new character being introduced. So.
Yeah. I that's one of the things I really hate is when they introduce a new character and automatically make them overpowered, But one thing about Archangel and Apocalypse, there was a story about 10 years ago in the X-Force where they created the Black Ops team, and Archangel has been for years and had his wings back, right?
Oh,
and
I didn't see that.
But what they took his they chopped off his wings and used them to try to make other creatures. And it turns out that his wings were infused with nanotechnology on a cellular level, and what happened was, when his wings were taken from him, and Warren goes mad, and suddenly he sprouts into Archangel and goes and just slaughters everybody. It was just slaughter. He was just completely lost it. And there's this beautiful scene where he transforms back to Warren with regular wings, and he's just naked and laying on his pile of bodies. I don't know. It was one of the most incredible panels I've ever seen in comic books. But
what series was that?
X-Force, about 10 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Cyclops creates a Black Ops team led by Wolverine, and had Warpath and Wolfsbane and who all else? But it was the X-23, the more violent mutants, and they became kind of his hit squad. It was a really great run, but
very cool.
That would have been that would have been somewhere around the Deadly Genesis era, I think.
Yeah. It was leading up to X versus X versus A, Avengers versus X-Men era. But it was a heck of a run. I really enjoyed it. So what was you going to say? Do you have something else to add?
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, okay. All right, let's move on to Shadow Matt. Who's your villain, sir?
I think I had to think of a spot because I wasn't gonna because I came in and let like right as the stream started. Let me think.
Okay.
Probably Kingpin.
Kingpin?
Mm-hmm.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Good choice.
He's not my favorite, but he's an interesting character. To say
Well,
least.
he I don't really think he has most DC has a DC equivalent. Most like Marvel and DC, they always have like equivalents, But I don't think there is an equivalent to Kingpin in the DC universe. Would you say?
Let me think. There's trying to think. There's Tobias Whale.
Yeah, that's true, but they kind of.
I don't know much about him, but I'm trying to think. There's this other guy.
Mm-hmm.
You remember? Let me think. There's the Batman the animated series. The guy with the white hair. He was big.
Oh, right.
I don't remember his name.
Okay.
I
don't remember it either.
An equivalent. Yeah, I don't know if there is one for Kingpin.
Well, Wilson Fisk is an interesting character. He really is. There was like this really interesting run with him where he lost his empire for a while. He basically gave it up to be with Vanessa, his this woman he fell in love with, and there was like this really incredible run of this gang war that happened, and then he eventually just put Vanessa on a helicopter to somewhere safe, and showed back up, and took over in a rather dramatic, manner that seemed to indicate that he could have done it any time he wanted to. So
I do remember that. I do remember that there was a story because I read Frank Miller's run from Daredevil.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember that he someone I don't think they killed her, but like they said that they did, and they took her off somewhere and kidnapped her. And Daredevil came to Fisk and showed him, and then he like broke the guy's neck at a meeting. Like he walked up to him as if he wasn't going to do anything and put his hands around him.
Right.
So that was kind of that's something else. This is like when you look at like Kingpin and how he's portrayed a lot of times now. I mean, he's not like
Vincent D'Onofrio did an awesome job.
Oh my gosh!
Awesome.
I can't see anybody else in his role.
Was that
man,
Daredevil TV show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He definitely looked like him.
But he played him with this this low hum of anger all the time, and it was like you knew he was going to kill somebody, you just didn't know who and you didn't know when. Right. But the first kill, and he just decapitated the guy with a car door. And up to that point, if you never knew the comic books and didn't know just how capable he was, because he looks like this big fat guy, but then it's like I think it was Daredevil hit him when the first time Daredevil hit him, he hurt his hand.
Right.
Because he thought he was going to hit this fat guy, and he's like,
bounce off.
Uh-oh, this ain't good.
I mean, that's the thing, is it's like everybody thinks Kingpin's fat, but he's actually not. He's just a really big dude.
And he's fast, and he's agile, too.
Like, there was going back to the High Evolutionary, there was one with Spider-Man, and like Kingpin made an appearance. He literally picked up a dude and crushed him with his bare hands and killed him. So like he's not fat,
No.
Kingpin always seemed like the ultimate narcissist.
Yeah.
Like whatever he wants, he's gonna take it, and whoever gets in his way, they're just gone.
Yeah. He's bringing up a good point. Vincent D'Onofrio has always had an undercurrent of psychosis. Yeah, I mean, his first character was Pyle from
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket. Who can forget that? I mean, honestly.
And then he was Thor in Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, right, yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
different character.
Exactly. I remember when I first saw him in Criminal Intent, and I was like, "That's Vincent D'Onofrio." But
Mhm.
there's AP.
Hey,
All
AP.
right, we needed some randomness, man. So here we go. Trust me, he gets random around AP. So, well, we were going counterclockwise, so I guess we'll go to AP. So then we'll go to Norm and see what happens. All right, what you got, AP? Who's your villain?
Oh, we're starting just like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So
Welcome.
So we're just to clear. It's any villain but the top obvious ones like Joker and those guys.
Joker, Doctor Doom, Hannibal Lecter, and Darth Vader
Okay.
are off the table. They're too obvious.
Yeah, they're pretty obvious. All right.
So Emperor Palpatine wasn't on the list?
Gotta go.
No, Palpatine was not on the list. Shut up.
The Prince of Thieves, Sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I can't remember. Alan Rickman. I always forget his name, but he's probably the greatest villain actor of all time, at least of my time.
Yeah,
I have to say the greatest threat of all time might be, I'm going to carve your heart out with a spoon.
That's part of why I'm picking this up. Yeah.
I say that to my kids all the time.
Oh, really?
And they say, why a spoon, cousin?
A spoon, I mean, that's a dull implement. That's a threat right there. Yeah, okay.
A really romantic wedding scene at the end, which is like so stupid it was funny. He's trying to, take Maid Marian from herself.
Die Hard too, yeah.
She's not doing it. I've never seen a scene like that was actually kind of funny. So that's nice. He was like he was like a cartoon villain in real life. He was a lot of fun, but irredeemable. He's a total piece of garbage.
You could just tell Rickman was having a blast.
Yeah.
He's one of the few actors, I think, that you just seem to enjoy playing villainy.
Yeah.
I mean, he just like, when he was playing the villain, it's like it's a warm coat on a cold day for him. He just put it on and purred.
That's nice. What was I always forget this guy's name too, with the guy who played the devil in Legend. Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Oh, another perfect villain actor.
Oh yeah. Tim Curry definitely enjoyed playing villains. So Sheriff of Nottingham, but specifically from the Prince of Thieves movie.
Yeah.
So not as just a general character.
So he's not always that compelling to me, really. But that guy, I could go back and Kevin Costner was remarkably uncompelling throughout that entire movie. I think that was kind of the point where you could watch
Kevin
it.
Costner has is a charisma sink. I mean, he just sucks all the charisma out of every movie he's ever been in.
At least every role he's in, yeah. But he couldn't do it around Rickman in this movie, like at all. Well, Rickman just
it worked in Field of Dreams because him not having much of a personality worked in Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Because Field of Dreams was all about everything around him,
Yeah, and James Earl Jones carries a lot of
James
weight.
Earl Jones, Ray Liotta's Shoeless Joe. I mean,
that's right. Yeah.
His complete vapid nothingness really worked in that role. But if
there's a few roles like that. Yeah. There's Mr. Brooks. He's kind of like that too. It kind of works.
Yeah, but, Mr. Brooks works because he's like he's a complete cipher, nobody, and it just works because he's supposed to be a psychopath. So
yeah. I kind of like the movie actually, even with Dane Cook.
Yeah, even with Dane Cook. Skip. All right.
What were the questions? There were supposed to be
the questions. We kind of got away from the questions. What's the big villain moment do you believe?
So when there's a bunch. Certainly, second place would be ordering the pillaging and burning down of the tree village. That's pretty crappy.
Yeah, that's pretty crappy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's as a distraction so he can marry.
If you're a villager,
if you happen to be living there for sure, in particular, it's especially crappy. It's like
somebody pillaging your home is definitely crappy if you're a villager.
Yeah, it was like upside down Vietnam because they were dropping napalm from the top in Vietnam, and then King of Thieves they were tossing it from below, but it's equally shitty. And it was all to distract so he could get away.
I told you randomness. We somehow wound up on Vietnam.
To get away with marrying Maid Marian against her will.
Hold on.
Was it? I can't remember this point. Was it to cement like a political thing, or is he just being a dick against Robin Hood at that point? I'm not really sure.
Just being a dick.
I think I think he was just being a dick. But certainly the most villainous was when he sees the plan is slipping and he's only got so much time left to escape. He uses that to try to take Maid Marian anyway. That's the stupidest villain. Like, what a total dick move. Like, he's gonna lose. You know.
And, that didn't matter to him at that point.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of positive thing he did the whole entire time?
So of character, no way. But he's hilarious. No. Like you really enjoy. You can't help but enjoy a villain.
So he's irredeemable, basically. So
totally irredeemable, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he made the movie. So
he made the movie. I mean, that's the only reason you watch that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I've always wondered what that movie would have been if they gave that role to Christian Slater instead of making him Will Scarlet.
Was that one of the plans?
He played with Will Scarlet.
The rumor is he couldn't do a British accent.
Yeah, well, neither could Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
But
let's be honest.
He's a bigger star, so they're like, well, we'll do it with Kevin because we know people will come see Kevin. We don't know about this Slater fella.
No idea why. No idea. And the funny thing about it was the one scene that women came to see the movie for, where he's supposed to be his butt shot, was actually a body double.
Oh, amazing.
So he didn't even do that.
Man without pants.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Here we go. Oh, we forgot to ask Redshift. Do you think Apocalypse is irredeemable?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no redemption, unlike Negan. But yeah, there's no redemption for him at all.
Are you still going on that Negan? Come on now.
There's no redemption for him either.
I just had to throw that in there.
No. All right.
There's no
Shadow Matt, we forgot to ask the question. Do you think Kingpin's irredeemable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably depends what you mean by irredeemable. I mean, everybody deserves forgiveness, but he definitely should, be put in jail forever, or something.
Okay, we're going to call that irredeemable. Yeah. Okay, Chris.
He literally, if you know what he did, if you read, what was the story? Was it Reborn or Born Again?
Born Again, yeah.
He did some pretty messed up stuff. Like he went
especially concerning Karen Page.
Exactly. Yeah. She was messed up and had some problems, and you know what I'm saying? It was just So definitely, and he was just trying to break Daredevil as much as possible in the story. Right. So,
Yeah, I agree. That storyline alone makes him irredeemable. I agree with that. So, Chris, you got a villain for us, sir?
I'm debating between the two as we were talking, but I think I'm gonna choose Johnny Lawrence
Oh, from
Karate Kid, yeah.
Karate Kid. But you
Yeah,
can't
thought
do
you were
that
going with Daniel
Cobra
LaRusso.
Kai. Not with
What?
Cobra Kai. You
I thought you're
can't.
going with Daniel LaRusso.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I flip that shit. Sorry, I've been staring at my phone for 2 days straight for Bunny. Brain smush.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
Johnny
Daniel
Lawrence.
LaRusso, that punk bastard.
Danny LaRusso, no.
Think about it. Think about it. He's already from New York. He's got one strike.
Yeah.
He's moving to California. That
Right.
I'm gonna be honest, going from east to west, west to east, that's a culture shock. But then you have Joey Lawrence and his buddies. They've been there their whole lives. They grew up there. Motherfuckers are seniors in high school. They're like, man, we're set. Johnny even says it in the movie. He goes, man, this is our year. They had done put the 3 years in. He's got his plan. Man, and here comes this punk coming right in just to fuck his day up, right? And then he single-handedly destroys Johnny's life and take everything that he worked so hard for. And
you've been watching Cobra Kai too much, man.
Listen,
I haven't even seen Cobra Kai. Not even
you
one
need
episode.
to see Cobra Kai. Oh my god.
No, because
brother, need to see Cobra Kai.
It'll mess up how I feel about it.
No, it won't. It confirms how you feel about it.
Yep.
It confirms it. Johnny Lawrence is the hero of Cobra Kai.
Really?
Well, I mean,
and he does
could,
blame Danny LaRusso for everything
afterwards, though.
Absolutely,
like he didn't have to just wallow in it. Like, so he came in and did, he took everything from him, but like he could have, he still was, the karate champion, and even getting second place at the tournament, he could have still used that to say, I'm the best, and I'm this guy's rival. But he didn't do that. Instead, he just like ruined his life. Oh my gosh, that show. It's just like there's some scenes where it's just like, how did you like shelter yourself? Because he didn't even know how to use the internet. Like that's how
what
like out of touch he was. I mean, I don't know. It was funny.
Okay, so
I just always thought like the Cobra Kai stuff was like their kids. Like become
no.
Right? I don't know. I can't.
It's the
I've
greatest.
Never actually.
It's the greatest reimagining sequel to any movie ever. It really is. It's that brilliant. It really is.
It was. Really
it just
good,
completely. It takes Johnny Zabka, William Zabka, the bad guy of the '80s, and turns him into somebody sympathetic. But it does it in such a way that makes him still a dirtbag. And it's really good. You need to see it. But you think Danny LaRusso was?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the whole series, he's just taking advantage of this kind little Asian fella, this Japanese guy, and going back to that, like he hated Johnny so much that he threw a temper tantrum with his bicycle until Mr. Miyagi taught him karate. So like he's like, I gotta learn how to fight so I can kick Johnny's ass. Like, why? Why can't you just leave Johnny alone?
That's pretty much Cobra Kai.
Trying to get with Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to see that movie. You need to see that series. That's serious, you do. Okay, well, we're going to move on to Norm. Norm's been chomping at the bit. He's been very patient. So, all right, Norm. Yeah, who's your villain?
Well, as I've thought about it more and more, originally I was going to go with the very obvious, which of course is Dark Phoenix.
Right.
But since some people here, I won't mention any names or anything, but since some people here have this really bizarre morality problem about some little thing like killing 8 billion people, okay, I guess I'll have to pick somebody else. So then I thought, well, we could go with Mr. Sinister because
I hate that guy.
Sinister is pretty much behind several, if not most, at least several of the major arcs that they've done throughout the years in X-Men.
So hang on, Normie.
He was well.
Did Telepathic Bunny say it was okay to kill 8 million people?
Well, he's kind of
No.
with it.
Is that
mean,
why
for the greater good,
morality
yeah,
issue?
Let him die.
No.
I believe the last thing he said on it was like the morality was fluid or something when we started talking.
No, I did not say that. I didn't. I said you were trying to convince us that morality was fluid. I did not
I'm not
say
trying to
it is
convince
fluid.
anybody of anything.
Okay. Sorry, Norm. Go ahead.
No problem.
Thanks for helping.
So you've got, he was the guy behind Mutant Massacre. He was the guy, hip deep in the middle of Legacy Virus. I mean, it just goes on. I mean, he was mixed up with Strife and Executioners.
The man behind the Marauders.
Yeah, it's he was, if I remember right, because this goes way back in the lore, but I believe he was also hooked up with Cameron Hodge on the Genosha thing. I may be wrong about that, but I think there was some.
He had his fingerprints all over it, no doubt.
And his whole
you see
thing,
what they were doing to them,
So the villainy with him would be a lot, more along the lines of, it's more of a personal type nature. With I've got to create the ultimate Summers, and thus it kind of overlaps with Apocalypse a little bit, who he's partnered up with on many occasions.
Yeah.
Including Executioners.
He also he beat De Blasio in turning New York to hell in Inferno.
Pretty much, yeah. Inferno, big time.
Yeah.
He was absolutely the guy behind that one.
Yeah, he was ahead of De Blasio by a few years.
Yeah, did a lot of damage to that guy.
He was ahead of his time.
A man of vision.
Yeah, definitely a man of vision.
Well, he was he was also
master.
Well, he was basically the one thing that really gives me the creeps about Mr. Sinister is that I'm sorry, and my mic out here. But what really creeps me out about Mr. Sinister is the fact that none of it seems personal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what creeps me out about him. It's like entirely clinical. I mean, he is ruining lives, causing massacres, destroying people on a mass scale, and he's basically Herman Goering.
Well,
that's a good comparison.
Yeah. Our Goebbels, with his propaganda machine.
Right.
His entire thing is the pursuit of knowledge. Pretty much is what it comes down to. He wants knowledge at any cost, and he will do whatever it takes.
But it's not a cost to him.
Yeah,
it's not a cost to him.
Well, that's how this works.
That's where the villain comes in.
So what constitutes a villain to you?
That's subjective.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
It is. It's subjective.
No,
yeah, it is.
So, you're right.
No, it can only be.
Okay. What I think of villain. You asked the question. What I think of villain is how, as somebody who basically fails to see the value in other people and causes damage because of it.
Sociopath, then.
Exactly. Sociopath, psychopath, and evidently I might be surrounded by him today. But anyway. Anyway.
Now keep going, guys, because you're talking Dark Phoenix right into hero status here.
Oh, no.
Just like you did with Magneto. Keep going. Keep going.
You wipe out a galaxy and call yourself a hero. No,
Magneto was an anti-hero.
Wait a minute.
From my point of view,
hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. You guys were just discussing the subjectivity of villainy.
Yes.
Yeah, I disagree with that, but it's so. There's aspects in a way.
Well,
so
if you believe in a universal truth, a right and a wrong, then some things are wrong, some things are right. Then you can definitely see what villainy is and what it isn't.
So I got to bring up Skinner again here. The
Oh,
guy
come on.
Because
Come on.
the idea is
No, that fool is a straight up asshole. Like, there's
No.
no
sure,
redeeming
but
quality.
he's not a full blown villain. If the horrible thing in the story is to be abusive to kids, then without question, for sure, there's no redeeming that. There's no position for it. I don't know that he's sadistic, but I can get to that in a second.
Oh, he's sadistic, dude.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
The ending. What did he need to do to prove to this guy at the ending to embarrass him like that?
Let me get to like the villain.
I swear, Mr.
He didn't need
Dean
to do
over
that.
here, Mr. Skinner over here. What is wrong with you guys?
I'm trying to
That's
get
a great movie, though. I like it.
here. There's
I
like
like
an original point. So if the villain of the story is, I keep saying it's the Starbucks jazz album. That's the real villain of the whole story. It's the watering down. It's the wokeness. It's the safe space of every cultural idea. So that every time you interact with like a Ghostbusters movie or a He-Man series or like a musical piece or any kind of art, it's the same story again and again. It's the same performance. It's the exact same thing. The difference in a way is that He-Man means a lot to like a certain generation. And the guy said who did the voice, the Skeletor, is that he helped some kids said that they didn't commit suicide. Like that's a pretty big contribution to like a civic thing. Yeah. Jazz is kind of like that, but it also helped fight the Nazis, like during the worst, like it invigorated people. Culture isn't just
what does this have to do with torturing a kid to the extent
I'm getting there.
that he almost killed himself?
So, no, one of them did. One of the kids did totally kill himself. Yeah. That's where the sadism thing, I don't think quite plays out. He's right near to it. Like he's willing to beat up any of these kids because he wants to draw up the best performer because he wants to stop. There's no more Miles Davises left. All of hip hop is complete shit. All of our movies are trash. We can all see this firsthand. There's a reason behind that.
So trying to find justifies the complete and total mind screw he was doing to those kids.
No, I'm still trying to finish my point here, but you can keep trying if you'd like. I'm hearing desperation in your voice there. So
well, he is subjective.
And you're hearing confusion, not desperation. Confusion.
So over time, if you don't have any people, if there's no teachers who give a shit at all, you're going to have all of your art is going to be shit. The best thing you're going to find is Ghostbusters 2016. He's certainly a shitty
you said it. You're not supposed to say that name out loud.
Sorry. You're right. No, I lose all my points.
You refer to it as GB16, and that's about as good as it gets.
So evil can be subjective in the same story because he's an abusive bastard. I don't know that he's sadistic because when he finds that the kid kills himself, he's like ruined. He doesn't he cancels class. He doesn't look to abuse more kids that day. He sees like, yeah, that was too far.
And the fact that he tried to ruin this kid's future prospects out of spite at the end of the movie.
That's not sadistic. Yeah, it is.
That's
yeah.
How in the world is that heroic? Come on.
It's not.
So
we saw the movie, man.
Yeah, we're having different conversations here. I'm talking villainy. You're talking heroic. Like we're inverting the conversation to maintain a person's position here. That's not what I'm saying.
So is he a villain?
The villainy is he could be the villain for sure. He's not the hero. Andrew Newman is obviously the hero of that story. Like I don't know how many could watch the movie and think there's any other potential. He's the hero's journey across the board. Mm-hmm. But Skinner plays the mentor and the thing in the way as well. He's not the anyway, you guys aren't going to see this. If you really value like comfort, then there's no question this guy's the villain. He's trying to be the the things the heroes have to overcome before they can like go off and start their quest. He's kind of like.
So you're saying he's an anti-villain?
Yeah, that might be a good word for it. Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Okay.
I see what you're saying, but it's still.
I can see what you're getting at, except that people have gotten the excellence out of people without being a complete total dick that's driven them to suicide.
Yeah, well, this is the exact point. You can't tell a story about fighting safe spaces and find the character who's nice and cozy and makes you feel nice throughout. The whole point is it's a fuck up. He's fucked it up. He cares. He's doing damage. There's better ways to do it. The point of a story isn't to find a Mary Sue Captain Marvel who's like, don't worry, I've got everything figured out all the time, guys. Like, he's a fuck up. Obviously, you're not supposed to be like him. Like, respect the target and not the method of shooting the arrow, you know?
Okay.
So that's where the subjectivity kind of thing comes in.
Okay, we're gonna move on from this if you don't mind.
I get it.
So we're getting a little bogged down here.
Excuse me.
We're a little bogged down here. Let me go over here. Dee Dee left one in the chat. She gave me actually several, but she says she's got to go. But let me go ahead. And,
Excuse me.
so got to go, but my villain is evil genius from Time Bandits. He was irredeemable because the supreme being blew him up. If he says he's irredeemable, then he's irredeemable. But anybody remember Time Bandits?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's an incredible movie. Yeah.
I watched it.
But he was supposed to be
years ago. I don't remember it.
Well, he
wasn't
was
that
supposed to
movie
be
with all the
like,
midgets?
yeah, it was a Gilliam movie.
Yeah.
But he it was with the dwarfs and everything, and they were like they had a map to the universe that they find cracks through time. But it had like a supreme villain, evil villain in it, and then it's like this Dux Machina moment at the end where he basically just says, it blows him up. The supreme being comes out, blows him up. It's this old English gentleman. He's like, I forgot I left him around, you know. But anyway, she also had two more. I was going to show them, but I think we're running a little on time. But Annie Wilkes from Misery was one of her others. She wanted that. That's a good one there. I'd say that one's irredeemable entirely. That woman's just batshit crazy. Yeah. I mean, there's no nuance to her. She was, nuts. And the other one was Elle from Kill Bill, played by
with the one eye.
With the one eye, yeah.
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah, played by Daryl Hannah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one evil individual right there. Actually, I got a clip of her, but it would go a little long. She's back. But there's this clip of her where when she kills. Anybody need the spoilers? Everybody seen it? Everybody? Okay.
Seen
Kill Bill Part 2.
Yeah,
Have you seen the Kill Bill movies?
I know
Yeah.
about those.
I was just messing with you. I mean, I'm the one who called her. Never mind. Yes, keep going.
Okay, all right. But there's this moment where it looks like she's giving Bud like money for the sword or whatever, and then this black mamba jumps out and strikes him like 3 times, and he's laying there dying. And she has this nice little dialogue where she pulls out her pad. And she's, I learned some things off the net about black mambas. And she just sits there, reading him these facts about black mambas. And he's like spitting up and swelling up like a bullfrog. And she's just like, here's another fact for you, It's the most cold-hearted damn thing, So yeah, I agree with Dee Dee. That was nasty villain. But I let me go ahead and share mine. 1 second here. I've got the tab right here, and this is mine.
Did you do a PowerPoint like Dojo?
Yeah, that's a good one.
No.
F you.
Everybody seen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Underwood. So yeah, Frank Underwood from House of Cards. Anybody disagree with he's a villain?
Impossible. I don't see.
No.
You didn't see it? Oh, sorry. Well, anyway, Frank Underwood from House of Cards. Basically, consummate politician. So
if you don't think the character's a villain, you can definitely say the real life person is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
brilliant actor though.
That video he released just before he went to jail, that "You Need Me" thing. Do you guys see that? That was something else.
Yeah, that's.
I heard he made a video or something like before, like during the court cases or something. I don't remember, but it was like he was in character or something. It was really weird.
Well, I was sympathetic towards Kevin Spacey, but then all these people started dying. I mean, how many of them killed themselves or popped off in an accident or something? I mean, after a while, it's like, was he the real Kevin, or is he really think he's Frank Underwood? What the hell,
That was probably a role that he took where he's like, I don't have to act. This is me. That's why it's so good.
Yeah.
Look, if he's acting that good and we believe these characters, from an actor's point of view, you dig inside yourself at that point. So if an actor's giving off a great performance, regardless of what the actor's doing, it's a little bit in them. So if he's being a dick and he's really good at it, chances are he's a dick in real life.
Except for Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, and Alan Rickman.
I bet you there ain't no part of Hannibal Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy.
Well, it's funny. You want to talk about playing against type? After he did Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, he did Remains of the Day and Shadowlands. And I mean, it's like one's a Merchant Ivory movie and the other is about the C.S. Lewis. I mean, you can't get further away from Hannibal Lecter than C.S. Lewis. Anyway, but
it really depends on how you read it.
No, don't. I won't let you defame C.S. Lewis. Dang it!
C.S. Lewis is a childhood right there.
That's my childhood right there, man. That's not my childhood. I actually have a full set of his books over there. So
my childhood was R.L. Stein books.
Well, he's one of the greatest Christian apologists of all time, and Screwtape Letters is a work of genius. But anyway, that's literary. We won't get literary around here.
Wait a minute, comic books are literary.
Yeah. Well,
that's subjective.
Yeah.
I've got a long rant about that.
I'm sure you do, and I bet
we have another rant. No way.
Okay.
Did we interrupt Normy? Actually, it just occurred to me. We never finished Dark Phoenix? Where were we going with that?
Right off a cliff, pretty rapidly.
She's a bad guy.
Yeah,
she's a bad guy.
Oh, come on now.
Well, in light of
Jean Grey is a hero. I'll give you that. But Dark Phoenix was not Jean Grey.
Exactly. That's at the core of the whole thing. I mean, if you want to get right down to brass tacks on it, killing 8 billion people wasn't the most villainous thing that the Phoenix did.
Okay.
How many people, like Sinister, how many lives across the mutant verse did that entity completely screw up and destroy, repeatedly torturing them?
More than 8 million?
You think it's more than 8 million?
I got to lean towards 8. Yeah.
No, it was 8 billion. And no, but you got levels of villainy. I mean, she just wiped out. Yeah. It was, when she took the planet out, it was 8 billion people.
No, she wiped out the sun, and the sun just sort of exploded through their planet.
Christ, when was this?
This is the Dark Phoenix saga.
Dark Phoenix saga.
Picture in the back of Normy's picture. That's the part of the saga.
I haven't read that since I was a kid.
Oh yeah. It's one of the best.
Well, Normy was reading
the animated series, and she didn't do that in the animated series.
Yeah.
Well,
she did in the cartoon.
She did?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
isn't that when time travel came into play or something like that?
I can't remember. That was that cartoon series has been a while.
I think they just glossed it over in that she basically devoured the star blew up, and they cut it at that point. If I remember right. but I haven't seen it since its original run, so I can't say for sure. But I don't think.
Okay. Would you say she's irredeemable, Normie?
No, not at all.
No.
For the simple reason, her purpose, as stated multiply throughout that book, is what? To burn away what doesn't work. That is her entire, or its entire reason to exist. Okay? If you fast forward in the timeline from Dark Phoenix, when Rachel, best summers ever, had the Phoenix Force and goes up against Galactus. Okay, it was I think it was issue 50 or 75. Might have been, well, anyway, it was the anniversary issue with the kind of funky looking teal cover. Anyway, she gets into this long, drawn out fight / philosophical discussion with Galactus about, you can't destroy this planet. You can't, all the typical hero type stuff. And Galactus is basically like, and how are you any different? Your entire reason is to, the whole burn away what doesn't work thing. You are a part of reality. Without you, the entire universe dies. So when you've got somebody that's on that level, and, we're not talking Jean Grey here at this point. We're talking the Phoenix Force. How can you possibly apply anything close to human morality to that?
Easily. She's a villain.
I'm
applying human morality to her right now.
Would that apply also to Apocalypse?
Yeah, but
you take human life. You take human life and take that out of the world. That makes you a villain.
No, it depends on how you look at it. If she's
man,
if she's doing the universe's dirty work, then her ultimate she only answers to the universe. Like, we're nothing compared to the universe, and
she's
just
Spectre.
cleaning house.
Except
I mean, we only care about her being a villain because we as humans think that anything that destroys us, them bad.
Bingo.
Exactly. There's a civilization of vegetables. They think humans.
If I was an alien and I ran into us, I'd destroy us.
Yeah.
Negan's not sounding so bad anymore, Redshift. Negan's not sounding so bad.
Have you seen
Negan's a good guy. Come on.
At least he does one at a time.
Yeah.
I'm with Normie.
I'm telling you, if you apply human morality to the Phoenix Force, yes, absolute villain, irredeemable, no question.
Well, we have to look at everything from a human perspective.
If you're trying to conserve life, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the only way, now here's the catch. The only way that you could eliminate her or it from existence would kill the entire universe.
See?
Because
it's symbiotic. She's necessary.
Yeah, she is the sum total of all life that ever was and all life that ever will be. So the only way you can stop her from doing what she does would result in everything blinking out of existence forevermore.
All right, question. Then why did the residual consciousness of Jean Grey commit suicide?
Because she
couldn't handle it.
Control it.
The human part.
Couldn't handle it. The human part of her
because
could not
understood.
That concept.
She understood that she was something bad.
She didn't want to be
had to be stopped. And she stopped it in the only way she could.
It would be like if the scalpel developed sentience and it decided it's like the scalpel's function is beyond,
Mm-hmm.
Right. If the scalpel learned what it's, or the knife learned what it's doing, does it want to be a knife anymore? Does a knife want to be a part of killing things now that it's sentient and understands that it's a weapon of death?
But if you put a daffodil spirit into a knife, it's just totally screwed up now, That's Jean Grey and Phoenix.
Yeah, the entire thing that turned Dark Phoenix into Dark Phoenix was human emotion.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Okay, so if they had never come together and that whole thing happened, what would the Phoenix have done? The Phoenix would basically go on doing what Galactus does. Its survival is what it does. The
universe must eat that, like redundancy.
Yeah,
because like every big villain does the same damn thing.
Every one of them. Look, the Celestials. That's basically what they do.
Right.
Well, I think Galactus fights, at least in the Earth X. His whole point is to countermeasure the Celestials, Galactus. So they have the same function, but one of them it's like a weed that fights other weeds.
Okay. Bear with me for a minute, okay? Bear with me for a minute. When you look at everybody we talked about today, when you look at everybody that we've discussed, okay, they all have something very similar in common. They were forces of destruction. They were they hurt others. They destroyed things, and they did everything that without any thought for others. That's the point of true villainy. But
they don't have a choice. That's their job.
You have two of us right here stacked up on top of each other. That our example completely gave lie to that.
Okay, all right.
His guy was doing something good. Half of the Phoenix existence is life.
Okay, then why'd you bring her up as a villain if you don't think she's villainous? Why did you bring her up as a villain?
Your question was, is there villainy? Yes, she absolutely has done villainous type things from our perspective. That's why I was talking about this before the show started with you and in the side room or whatever the heck you call it.
Okay, all right.
You've got this, yin yang, good bad, light dark, the whole dichotomy. The entire point of that character is to be both things.
But the thing is,
that's what makes a good villain.
What's that, Shadow Matt? What did you say?
Well, the thing is, when you think about it, though, there are other beings like her, I can't think of it, that are higher powers in the universe that prescribe to human morality.
Right.
I'm trying to think, the Living Tribunal. I think that's one.
Yeah, I was thinking Spectre.
Well, the Spectre he doesn't give a shit about our morality if it has to fill out a function, though. He'll kill your best friend or that kid's kid, He's like, time to go. So he's not exactly on board with, it overlaps closely, but it's not, he kind of steamrolls us at points, too.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I think we muddied the waters quite a bit.
But it's subjective.
So
Magneto's an anti-hero, right?
Magneto's an anti-hero. Dark Phoenix is a force of good. I mean, Bunny, you got this whole comic thing entirely backwards, dude. You've been
unnecessary evil.
I sit here in awe. You've gotten through all these years, and now with fresh eyes, you can go back and reread everything that you've read like it was new again. And you can read it and you can say, my God, how could I have been so blind?
Well, I'm gonna say something that I actually agree with SJWs on this. I'm right, you're wrong. That's all I care about.
Come on, do the chair spin.
Mind is closed, okay? I believe in blacks and whites and in morality and right and wrong. I believe in these things,
but the world is extremely gray. It's gray.
Not for me. Not for me.
Yes, it is. You sound like that wrestler guy. It's real.
Peter's point of view.
Just
I think you
embrace the nihilism. Just embrace no barriers to anything. And yet you guys complain all the time with these amoral monsters are destroying the world. And they believe like
really?
you're talking about gray areas, and they love gray areas.
No,
Yeah,
they dwell in gray areas.
Listen to SJWs and Comicsgate as a hate group. Like, they don't have any nuance. It's all one or the other. So there.
Well.
That's going really good for them this week, isn't it?
Oh, it's not at all. Yeah.
Did you see that Spider-Man writer go off on somebody on the internet?
I haven't.
I didn't do that.
He got caught in the DMs just berating a fan.
Wow.
Really?
And then an article was bashing Comicsgate big time, calling it a hate group. That they're not into diversity, blah blah blah. They're a bunch of white fat people. And
I had this one right before we came on. Okay, you guys might have seen this one. Yanzi was on a thread talking to somebody or other, and this moron, right? He had posted a thread to me. I don't know if you guys saw that. I did a post earlier today, something along the lines of, my usual, point to ponder type of a thing with, these are the same people that are calling Larry Elder, a black guy from South Central Los Angeles, a white supremacist.
The new face of white supremacy.
Yeah. And, that was one of those posts that I did. And this guy comes on, girl, Zer, whatever, I don't know, but comes on and basically says, got any receipts? So I just, I let it sit for a while. It's like, I got this coming up and whatever. And I just don't want to deal with the stupid right now. Well, I'm looking through and I come, my timeline, and I come across this post from Yanzi, right? From like an hour or two before this happened, right?
Right.
And that's very important here. Before this happened. And this guy is railing on her about, well, not really railing, but doing the typical SJW. Well, you really don't want to hang around with those people because, they're a hate group and racist and all of this shit. And Yanzi is like, that group of people just made me $100,000 and they know I'm Asian. So exactly where do you?
We kind of love that she's Asian.
Yeah, and she's cool as shit. And anyway, so all right, keep that in mind. Now back to me. So I go back to this post and I say, sure, here you want proof. Today I read a post about some SJ, and I'm paraphrasing, right? But today I read a post by some SJW basically telling an Asian woman that, who made $100,000 on her comic from this supposed hate group, and blah, 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 that, they're going to abandon her and all of this other stuff. There's your proof. And the guy literally says, well, I don't see that proof.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
I was like, dude,
well,
you're the one that fucking said it.
well, that's like earlier this week. I saw this post, and I usually just let them go. I usually don't follow up because it's you're just talking down a well at this point. I mean, there's no bottom to the end of it. But he was saying
Twitter's for arguments and going back and forth.
Right.
The entire reason it exists.
Exactly. But this guy was saying that you only join Comicsgate if you have no morals, you're over the hill, and you just want to join the grift. And so I gave him a list of, I think it was around 13 names of pros that are in Comicsgate or Comicsgate affiliated, and that claim that they may not claim Comicsgate, but they're friendly. And I mean, this list of names is the who's who of about, I say, 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, as early as 10 years ago. but they were like marginalized and pushed out of the industry. But these were like names that are on the Mount Rushmore of comicdom. I mean, like Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, I mean, Aaron Lopresti just showed up, and which probably triggered all this shit. But Dale Keown was on there, and I mean, I didn't even use Ethan Van Sciver and John Malin because that's if you put those names down, that's all they see. And so I put down everybody else, Shay Davis and all those other people, and Joker, some other guy comes in and says, "Who are these D-listers?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, "Oh, you want to know? I'll tell you who they are." And he's like, I don't believe you. And because I said that they're all legends, these are people that are household names. And he's like, well, I don't believe you. And I was like, well, fair enough. And then I just ran down like everybody's accomplishments. And Norm chimed in on their accomplishments, and we just had like block text after block text of accomplishments that these guys have had. Everything from Superman to Superman runs to Batman runs to Spider-Man runs. Graham Nolan invented Bane. Have you heard of Bane? Yeah, Graham Nolan invented that guy, or Chuck Dixon. Tim Drake came from Chuck Dixon. Yeah, exactly.
All of these guys were at the height of the popularity of those characters. Every one of them.
If they didn't create them, they renovated them and brought them back to prominence.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking, in the comic book universe, gods among men, and these suckers are like, I don't recognize any of those names, and you're just like, you're trying to tell me what comics are comics or not, and you don't know these names.
Well, that's the weird thing, though, is it's like they don't know who those people are, but they know the people now. Like, because I can't tell you a single writer right now except like the person that wrote I Am Starfire, but I only know what she looks like. I don't even know her name.
She looks like Mandy from I Am Starfire.
Yeah,
exactly like her.
Exactly
like her.
Yeah.
I watched the video about it, and when they pulled her up, I literally laughed. I couldn't help
the same smirk. She
Yeah.
has like the same quirk to her lips.
Yeah.
And they were just okay with that. Like they didn't. She's like, "Here's my book," and they're like, "This character looks like you." It's like, I know, right?
There's no editors left.
No, there's not.
You take the stupidest people God ever put on the earth, okay, and then you take the stupidest people that God ever put on the earth and give them jobs running media empires. And then you have one set of stupid people hire the other set of stupid people, and that's what you end up with.
Yeah.
There's no other explanation for it. There's no
It's a confederacy. It's a confederacy of dunces.
Absolutely.
Generously put.
I mean,
How are they making money to keep this shit going? Seriously, are they just? They're not making that much. They can't be making that much money. Are they just gonna?
A lot of people
go with
it.
Like they're just in it.
Okay.
A lot of people believe that Chinese is like setting up slush funds for these media organizations to keep going in the direction that they're going.
I know, like the previous YA novels is what they call them, like for graphic novels. Did okay. Like I think the Batman one did okay, but like. This one, like, I saw a video about it, and it was like the grammar was bad, like the sentence structure was bad, the story made no sense. Like, it was like she was griping about her mom, which was Starfire, but like the reason why was because like she was better than her and everything, and because she looked better. And I'm like, so you're griping that your mom has a life and that she's successful, and you sit around with your best friend at school
and eat,
basically on Twitter all the time.
Eat. You're fucking not even doing the things you can do to change your own fucking problems.
Exactly.
What problem?
Saw this one page. What's that?
What problem?
I saw this page. I saw this page. And this is what killed me. I saw this page out of that book where Coriander, who has always been like one of the sweetest characters ever put in comic books. I mean, just a sweet, loving character. She's always been nurturing. I mean, from the moment she came in the comic books, I don't know what that bullshit they are doing in a Titan show, but this has always been like a
Titans is
matronly
actually
figure.
pretty good.
Okay, well, but the thing about it is, though, is she's trying to be a mother to this Mandy or whatever the heck her name is, and she's like rejecting her, just rejecting her. It's like, you're making me feel bad by being nice to me, you know, and it's like. What in the world? It's like
I really want to know like what her relationship is with her mother, because it's like why because like I can
That's
only
therapy.
imagine the people that read that book or the people that go on Tumblr to gripe about their lives,
Yes.
and who
Those are the
just
people who
hate their
wrote the
family
book.
for no reason but to like because they don't give them everything they want. Like that's the only reason I could imagine why someone could relate to that book.
And this woman puts this little like self-insert dump on the industry, and what do? She's never going to work again, right? No, they put her on Batman.
What? Fuck off!
She's on a Batman book.
Yeah,
no, she's not.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, she is.
Christ on a cracker. I'm not Batman.
Who is
Well,
this?
All right,
Wait,
you
the
guys.
woman that wrote Starfires on Batman?
What is her name? I can't remember.
Maria-
Mariko Tamaki.
That's it.
What?
She's on a Batman book.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Is it going to be a young adult Batman book?
I'm not sure.
Not sure, but it's like that. What's that little Pez dispenser? Daniel something other, the guy that did new Kibble Smith that did the New Warriors. You remember that horrible. They didn't even put it out. Yay! It was so bad they never even put it out. Okay, and one of the things the reason why he did this like horrible comic book was because the other one intimidated him. The first new Warriors intimidated him so bad that he just Night Thrasher kind of intimidated him. A big violent black man. Okay,
that's
so
what I thought. I thought that might be the most. That was
his words. That was his words. Okay, and it's in the interview.
Is this fictional character? This fictional character made a writer uncomfortable.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So this guy he says it in this interview, right? So what do? They put him on Blade.
Yeah, he's
the new writer for Blade.
He's also one of the writers for the Colbert Report, the new one.
Yeah,
so he's all the way to the left, and like his career is drawing responses out of basically everybody who isn't all the way to the left. Like
I mean, watching these people fell upwards.
So I don't know if
just
even
fell upwards.
He might never have read a Night Thrasher comic book, but just said that to entice a response.
Well, I think you're giving him. I think you're giving him way too much credit here. I don't see that much forethought in that guy.
It's the only gimmick they have it's the whole method is to subvert. They have a word for it, is the deconstruct or something. You take a character, you make it the opposite. It's what He-Man was. It's the same. If you look at all of the
subverting expectations, deconstruction.
Yeah. The Ghostbusters that won't be named. All of these is the same pattern of.
Yeah, but take Dora Explorer and make her a new warrior.
Yeah.
Have two non-binary whatevers and call them Snowflake and Safe Space.
But what's worse is that they're siblings and they kind of snuggle and stuff. Like there's so many creepy things going on. They're like Pietro and Wanda.
The vampire's name is B Positive. That's the vampire's name. It's B Positive, and we won't even go into the internet gas guy. Internet gas.
B Positive was probably the best they had. Yeah.
Oh God, he evidently got a blood transfusion from Morbius.
Yeah. Morbius.
Okay, whatever, guy. You know that's
How are they
that-
going to
no,
introduce
that's never
Blade
been
into the
done before.
MCU? That's crazy. I just don't know how they're going to do it. Where the fucking vampire's been this whole time, you know? Someone want to tell me that shit?
They planning on doing it? Seriously?
Yeah, Blade. They're making a Blade movie.
He's coming. Golly. That's. I'm sorry. That's going to be a desecration.
Miniseries.
Well, I think Moon Knight's going to be a mini series. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, Moon Knight's a miniseries.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be horrible to watch. I love Moon Knight so much. That's gonna be gut wrenching.
And let us not forget one of their other great accomplishments. I don't know if you can do it or not, buddy. This is new territory for me. Can you do a screen share?
Yeah. Just hit the share screen, and it'll pop up
right at the bottom.
I'll bring it up. Yeah.
On the bottom.
In the middle.
Yeah.
It's between cam, mic, and invite. Just click screen or share, and then pick the screen.
Hell, I'm not seeing it. Well, it's not that big a deal anyway. But basically, it was what they did to Rachel Summers in that Hellfire Gala.
God.
There's nothing that these people can do other than ruin shit because they have no talent whatsoever between them. They can't create anything. Look what happens when they try. And this isn't new. Look what they've done for 15, 20 years. Yeah, I said this a lot. Yeah, I think it was the first stream I was on. Can any of you guys name one true classic in recent memory that's been written?
Civil War?
Well, not classic for being bad. How long ago was Civil War?
Civil War was good.
How long ago was it?
Really stood out.
2000 something, I think.
So we're over 10 years right there. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a remake from a series that ran in the 80s, if I remember right.
That nobody liked.
That nobody liked. So they can't create anything new. And every time they try, we end up with Snowflake, we end up with safe space, we end up with internet gas, we end up with I'm Not Starfire. These are their accomplishments. Yeah. These are these are the things that their big names are pushing. Right? This is their Fortune 500 PR marketing departments at Marvel and at DC.
Yeah.
They're shoving this shit down people's throat. I mean, it's a failure from every angle you want to look at it. And
why aren't the shareholders like stepping up and saying like we're losing money? Because no one's buying this shit, right?
Look at how many like when Comicron was like, functional.
Yeah.
Right at the end before all the shit hit the fan. Look at what those numbers look like. The answer to your question is the shareholders have absolutely no idea because those comics don't get in the hands of enough people to matter.
Yeah.
But their bank account should matter if they're not getting money.
Well, Chris,
those fuckers only care about two things: pussy and money.
Disney's bank
Excuse
account.
my French.
Disney's bank account is monstrous. The comic book section for Marvel is a grain of sand on a beach.
Yeah, same with DC and Warner. Or is it even Warner?
Well, it's the same thing that happens when, but it's very similar to remember when Trump was accused of having money in a company that created chloroquine, and he had no idea because he was part of these big bundles of investments. Brokers, the investment broker had him part of it. Well, that's pretty much what's going on here is because the shareholders, it's like in a bundle of other investments to the extent where they don't know what's succeeding and what's not succeeding. and they hide these numbers that way, and so
the comic books don't really matter because they're just fuel for the movies.
They're just IP. They're just IP farms.
It's IP. It's not even. I think they've used the fuel up to get the first bits going, the Iron Man and stuff like that. And now it's just the IP. They're not even taking anything else.
But see, that's what the thing. The problem is they've run through all the classic IPs
and ruined them.
And they ruined. And they basically, if they skipped like the very next thing that happened and went straight to Marvel Now.
Yeah.
They skipped all the stuff between the classic IPs up till that time and went straight there. And so you're going to get the Riri Williams, you're going to get the Jane Fosters and all these horrible switch outs and taking Falcon and making him Captain American, but then taking all the love out of him for his country, and things like that.
This is textbook how they do it, and that they've done it all across the genres. You start off, look at your television shows, right? Everybody goes, WandaVision, first episode. Oh, that was really cool. That was wondrous. That was great. Blah, blah. By the time you get to episode 3, you have the audience built. Oh, we're going to, I can't wait to see what happens. And then bang, you get hit with just utter garbage.
That's what happened Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how they do it.
They had this redemption arc set up. They had it set up to look like Bucky was going to wind up with the shield. And they had they were building him up to that point. And then it's like somebody along the way, because I heard the reshoots happen at some point. And then it is like this jarring left turn, and I do mean left, episode 4 or 5, I think it's 4, where suddenly the Dora Milaje show up from Wakanda and just cuck Bucky. Basically say something and his arm falls off or something like that.
And press a button.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I actually had no problem with Falcon getting the shield.
Okay.
I mean, well, I didn't like the show because of like what you said, because it's kind of like, I didn't have a problem getting Falcon getting the shield because, when you watch the, just because he's more well known, now,
right?
And like he was still with him, but yeah, I didn't like the fact that like they made him just against America, or like the fact that he said that shield has a lot of history.
Yeah.
Well, what history does it have that's bad?
Exactly.
That was kind of like my thing. And that was the thing. It's like there was that guy. I forgot they met at the house. That was the other super soldier,
Isaiah Bradley.
That's like one case, but he had nothing to do with Steve. There was no correlation.
We didn't even know he existed in the comics.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of it's not the character. Like that example right there. You could make that work. There is actually some precedence in canon to make that work. The problem is the way they go about it.
Right.
And
right, I agree.
Then you end up with this. Where the hell did that come from? Why does Thor have boobs? Where is it? Just you get the bait and switch. You get hooked on the first couple of things, and then bang, here's our agenda. And since you've been here all this time and invested all of this, all of yourself into it up to this far, you can't say no now.
Let me tell you what Patient Zero for all this is. Patient Zero was fan fiction. And I was there for it because I was not, there's no way in hell I was ever going to get published. And so what do? You want people to look at your work, but you have to work within an existing IP for people to look at your work. And so, yeah, so I would write.
He saw the beginnings of the war.
Yeah, exactly. But I was in, I would do like MASH fan fiction, things like that. And I was very well thought of. I mean, I had a page that had probably a bigger circulation than Marvel's main title in the last year. I had a pretty big page. And then suddenly I started seeing more and more, because I'd look for other people's work. I'd start doing searches for other people's work to kind of find some inspiration or find who the good writers were. And then more and more and more and more, the results were just slash 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 slash. I mean, it was just like, taking straight characters and making them gay, and more and more, I just see this sloppy writing come in, and they would make these changes for the sake of the changes, not for the sake of the characters. They would make the changes for the sake of the changes. And once that happens, you've completely, totally lost your way, because when you truly write, you're basically, it's like a pre-existing artifact that you're unearthing.
That's right.
Okay. And the moment that you try to plug yourself into it, or you try to enforce yourself upon the story, you lose it. It's so ephemeral, that dinosaur bone, you have to like carefully get it out of the ground, and you have to be sure that you're cutting the right thing away from it. And like I did a MASH fan fiction that's got huge circulation. I'm still getting people talking about it, and it was like after MASH, whatever. But the story was so organic, it just came to me while I was writing it, and I felt like I was watching another MASH episode. But when it happens, that happens, and you just get yourself out of the way and you just write what comes to you, then something happens. It's organic. It's a perfect piece of it like feels genuine. But
Right,
the
it's not effortless to write. It just comes out. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like like I said, unearthing an artifact or finding something pre-existing and discovering it, right? But the problem is the moment that you get into the way, the moment you try to push onto it something that it is not, it invalidates the whole thing. It invalidates it. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people that are going to these IPs already knowing what they want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you see with Superman, I think is the worst case, to be honest, with one of them. Like, they made him now no longer Truth, Justice, the American Way. It's Truth, Justice, and a Better World. And I got into a bit of a Twitter fight with people, and their whole thing was, well, America's so bad right now. Why do you want Superman to be fighting for it? And I'm like, well, so it's America. His whole thing is to love America. Who cares if it's bad right now?
Just create a new character.
Yeah, or like the fact that there was one panel where I saw like he said his son asked him, well, why don't you do more for Earth? And then Superman responds with, you could tell the writer thought this was deep, with because I just don't feel at home. Or I don't feel that Earth is my home, because I'm a foreigner, and I'm like, and the sons, and you're just like, you lived on Earth your whole life. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the first ever, like, him being like, I don't belong here. I mean, like,
well, it's like the Captain America speech where I no longer believe in the dream.
When was that?
That just came out. They had Captain America.
Like
that whole book with all the little woke
variations.
I don't think I heard about that. Oh, was that
woke Americans?
I know they made a new Captain America. Was that the new Captain America that did that?
No,
one
it was
them.
Steve Rogers.
No, that was
Steve Rogers.
Yeah, that was
Steve Rogers. Yeah. And they had him saying, I no longer believe in the American dream.
Wow.
Well,
and that's the worst thing he said since Hell Hydra.
Well, in Devil's Advocate, he did become Nomad. So I mean, but he went back,
right,
to being Captain America.
Okay.
I mean, there was the whole Secret Empire thing where he did, get a little upset at the end, but
Yeah, we won't talk about Secret Empire. Okay. Well,
I
we were
actually
talking
liked
about
it until the end. You know, it was like,
right.
but yeah, because like you know, it was just like at that end, it was just like time for a change or something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, to me, it should have been, you know, he would have went 180. You know, no, you know,
Yeah.
this is why y'all need me more or something. But you know,
Yeah. Well, we were talking about villains, and I guess we got to talking about real life villains.
Tomato, tomato.
It kind of organically went into that, did it not?
You could do Doctor Strangelove and cover them both.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Anyway, but I think we'll just we'll end it up there. Does anybody have any projects they want to push right quick? Anyone?
no, I have nothing right now. So
Okay. All right. Okay.
I've got one coming, but won't be until end of the year or next year.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Well, Chris is helping me out with a project. I'm not ready to share it yet, but it's very impressive. Just if you need a graphic designer, you know, hit him up. He's good. Might even be great.
Thank
I
you.
don't know.
No.
Awesome.
No. I learned a lot doing this, so I don't consider.
Okay.
I'm patient.
Well,
You got to give me that, though. I'm patient, aren't I?
yeah, he's patient because every time he was like, I was like, no. And he's like, what about this? I'm like, no. As a matter of fact, let's go completely different direction. And he's like,
Hey, but we found it, did we not? We found it.
We found
that sweet
We
spot.
found it.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you guys sometime soon. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much it for the night. I appreciate you guys for showing up. We had a really good discussion.
Yeah, thank you. Telepathic Bunny.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Well, you all have a good night, and we'll just end the broadcast. But
Okay.
I'll see you around next time.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
That's all,
Take care.
folks.
Hey, see ya.
Bye, guys.
Tell me what's on your mind.